Hello, model railroad fans. Welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. In my last poll, the Monopoly train set was the winner. It beat out another Bachmann set and a Napa set by Athearn. So today I've got this train set out, so we're going to unbox it and set it up. But we're going to do something a little bit different than what I normally do with my train set videos. And I'm going to back up a bit, because as you can see, I have no track on my table. I've taken it all down and it's piled up right here in this box. So this video might be just a little bit longer than the norm, because I'm going to unbox everything, we're going to look at everything, then we're going to set up the track that comes in the box, and then we're going to get this whole thing rolling. I will probably save a little bit of time by setting up the track off camera, but it will still probably be a little bit longer video than the norm. So feel free to kind of skip around and see the parts that interest you the most. Alright, so give me just a moment to get set up on the tripod, and then we will get this rascal unboxed. I'm all set up on the tripod now, and we got our train set sitting right here. But before we open the box and take a look inside, one thing that I forgot to bring over from storage is, if you had bought this new, there's like a cardboard piece that sits on top of this and folds over on all four sides, and then the whole thing is shrink wrapped. And that gives you a lot more information. It shows like a picture, and I'll try to put a picture up on the screen somewhere. But it shows a picture of the train set set up, I think with a kid or two or something like that. And along the side, it gives you some information. I did have a picture that I found of that, so that I could just throw that up on the screen. But I will go through and read what you would find on that packaging. If you find this on eBay, odds are that outer part will be missing anyway, but let's go over that real quick. So it's going to come with Bachmann Easy Track, but it's going to be the black road bed with the steel rails, and it's going to be 47 inches by 47 inches, so it's going to be a loop of track for better words, but it has 4 straight pieces on each corner, so it's not like a circle. Has an 060 locomotive with tender, 4 box cars, and an offset caboose, and those come with the Easy Mate Mark I couplers. It has a play mat, and it's got a snap together jail. You've got some street signs that have like Monopoly names on it, power pack, a booklet with about the train set and the history of Monopoly, as well as an instructional VHS tape. Those us older people will know exactly what that is. Alright, so I've got this camera zoomed out a bit so that we can see and hear a little bit better. So when we crack this open, first thing we see is our play mat. But we're going to take that and the tray underneath it and set it to the side, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Alright, so I'm going to pull this forward. First thing let's look at is the paperwork. So it comes with this little folder, and there's a bit of paperwork in here, so let's set this aside and take a look. Alright, so the first thing we're going to have is a packing list right here. Then we're going to have basically a description of the way this should look, and it comes with a Spectrum power pack, so that's going to be considerably better than that normal little dinky one you get with Bachmann's train sets. Alright, so let's keep going here, and we got some information on the limited warranty and probably a registration card. Let's flip that over and take a look. Yes, it is. And then we've got some troubleshooting and lubrication steps for the 060 locomotive, and it does have smoke. And then we've got a breakdown of those, and I hope those show up good because I forgot I have this zoomed out a bit. And we've got some information on the power pack. And we've got some assembly instructions for the police station / jailhouse. And then we've just got some basic assembly and troubleshooting steps for the track. And finally, we've got a little bit of information talking about the railroads of Monopoly and the history of Monopoly. So that's pretty much that for the paperwork. So I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side here. Let me go ahead and stack it back together and put it in here. That way it don't get separated. Alright, so up here in the corner, let's start with our power pack. This is a big old rascal compared to what you normally see. And it is a Spectrum power pack, but it's got the Monopoly logo on it. So that gives it a nice little touch there. And we got your power cord, and you've got a little cable to hook it up to the track. Alright, we got a baggie of road signs. However, if you can see there's nothing on them. There's some little stickers in here that we'll show in a moment that you put on there. And then we've got our smoke for the locomotive. And here we've got 12 pieces of the Bachmann Easy track here. And then we got, these are the curved pieces that make up the oval, or I guess I should say the circle. And then we have the 4 pieces that can make it an oval. And there's multiple ways you can set that up. Well, 2 ways to be honest with you. But we'll be setting it up the way that it shows in the instructions. And here's our little kit. Now this is used, so someone has set this up before. So off camera I'll assemble this. And hopefully it'll be all complete and we can have it on there. And then there's those little stickers. Alright, so let's now get a closer look at the train set itself. I'm setting the play mat aside for the moment. We're going to look at that in more detail later. And I want this to go back in there right. Now that I've monkeyed with it, it probably won't. Alright, so we'll dither with that later. Alright, so before we get to the train set, we got this instructional VHS. I've watched it. Not the best quality, I'll tell you that. Alright, so let me zoom in a bit. Alright, so let's now take a look at the caboose. Alright, so we've got our Monopoly man, the Monopoly logo, and we got where it says get out of jail free, and then we've got the Monopoly man with his jail clothes on, and he's getting the boot, so they're kicking him out of jail. This little piece right here has broken off. It's somewhere in this, oh, it's right here. I need to put that back on, but we won't worry about it for today. So we've got a nice little bit of detail. We've got silver right here on the top for this little walkway and on top of the cupola. And then we've got our brake wheel, got our ladder, and we got railing. And under here we've got metal wheels. And then pretty much the same thing on the other side. And this, I'm not sure if I did it for all of them, because if you look here, this, oh, let me get it in camera, is a Katy coupler. But I believe this one is the Bachmann Easy Mate. Now, I can't remember if I changed all of them out. But when I got this, probably about a year ago, a lot of those Easy Make couplers were crushed, and when I tried to open one, it just broke, so I went ahead and switched them out. All right, so let's keep going up here. We'll look at one of these cars in detail, and we'll look at just the basics on all the others. All right, so here is Short Line Railroad, and we've got here where it says advance to go, collect $200, and we got the trademark for Hasbro, and then we've got the little Monopoly guy advancing to go, and pretty much identical on this side. So we've got some molded in detail with our ladders. The doors do open, and this has some nice weight to it, and everything is complete. But you can see here we've got a Katy coupler, and we have got that on all of them, and I believe I put number 5s on here. And so we've got some more molded in detail on the bottom. Alright, so our next up in there. Our next freight car is going to be the Reading Railroad. So we got on this side, Reading Railroad. And over here, we've got Take a Ride on the Reading, and we got the Monopoly Man riding a train. And we got the little toot. I wonder what kind of toot he's doing. Alright. So now let's move over. I'm going to save my favorite one for last. We've got our Pennsylvania Railroad. And this one is go directly to jail, and we can see the police officer dragging him off to jail. And finally, we've got the B&O, or the Baltimore and Ohio. And we have the B&O Railroad on this end. And on this end, we've got Take a Walk on the Boardwalk. And so we've got the Monopoly Man pushing a baby carriage. It looks like he's holding a dog. And he's getting ready to go to Boardwalk. Alright, so that is it for the freight cars. Now let's check out our tender. So we got a little coal load on there. And we've got some plastic handrails or railing right there on the top. And we've got where a light should go, but we don't have any light, just some silver paint. And we got some molded in detail, some rivets, the ladder. And again, we've got our number 5 Katy coupler. And then we just have the Monopoly logo on the side. And then we've got a little hook here that just hooks into the locomotive, and I'll show that in a few moments. And a little bit of molded in detail on the bottom, and metal wheels, and I neglected to mention that all of them have metal wheels. Alright, so let's drop that back in. Now let's get our little 060 locomotive out, if I can get a hold of it. Alright, and there we go. 1935, and I believe that's the year the game come out. I'll verify that when I edit this and throw that up on the bottom there if that's true or not. But we've got some molded in detail here, and we've got, I can't tell if that's metal or plastic, feels like it's metal, for the railing there. This feels like a plastic piece there for the bell and for the steam whistle. And can't really tell in there, but there's not much in the way of detail. It's a little bit dark. And here we are on the bottom. And we have kind of a fake coupler on the front. And we've got a light there, which if I remember correctly, it works. So overall, a nice looking little locomotive. Alright, so I'm not going to put that back in the box. I'm going to set that off to the side. And now we're going to close this box up, and we're going to take a quick look at the play mat that this comes with. Let me see if I can make enough room for it. And I'm going to zoom back out. So there's our plastic mat. So let's unfold it, shall we? I've never actually unfolded this. And this is a big part of why I have cleared the table, so that I can set this up. Alright, let's go to this side here. Alright, I'm going to come off the tripod. So there is one big Monopoly board, and it is going to hang off the edges. So this table is 48 inches wide, so it should be big enough to accommodate the track, but I may, just to be safe, leave a couple of pieces out so that it will shorten it, and it will just be a straight oval. Alright, I'm going to stop the video right here, and I'm going to get all of this set up, and we will get the train on the track and give it a test run. Alright, so I've got the mat all set up here, and I've got the track all assembled, and I'm going to cheat. I've got my little pointer, so I can kind of point to a couple of things, so hopefully the red dot will show up. So I'm going to point out a couple of things that I've got going on right here, and then, I don't know if you can see it over there, the train is actually sitting on my computer chair. I'll stop the video and then get it all set up on the track. Alright, so first thing I want to get out of the way is I'm glad that I assembled this little jail right here off camera, because I kind of have a rule that I don't use bad language on my channel, because I never know if kids are going to be watching. It's not geared for kids, but you know how that works. But I think I broke my rule a couple of times, so if I'd been on camera, that would have been that. The other thing is we've got our big circle of track here, which is not a true circle because we got these 4 straight pieces in there, but I guess effectively it is a big circle. But this has got the black road bed, as you can see, and it's got steel rails. So I have got, and I don't know if you can see it over here, I've got a track cleaning car and a little switcher engine that I run around the track just to make sure it was clean. And I have tested the locomotive, broke it in a little bit just to make sure it was running good. But anyway, then of course you got this big old mat, which is basically this one giant Monopoly board. It's too bad I don't have some big cards for the chance and the community chest. That would have been fun, but yeah, what can you do? Maybe you can make some, I guess. So anyway, that's really pretty much all there is about the actual setup here of the track and the game, well, I say game board, but the track mat here. Now the other thing too is I'm using a different power supply. I didn't feel like moving mine off of the table and unplug it and all that good stuff, so I just using the existing one. And I'm feeling like I'm leaving something out, so if I remember it later, oh yeah, that's what it was, I remembered. So right here, I believe it's this spot right here, and then a spot over here, I verified all the way around that all the track is connected as it should. It's not, you know, sitting on top of one of the rail joiners or anything like that. But this spot and this spot, I don't know if there's just a defect or just from being in storage for a long time or some weather change, temperature changes, something like that. It's possible that it may want to derail the cars. I had a fair amount of trouble with those 2 spots when I was running the track cleaning car. So we'll see. So if it gives me too much trouble when we're trying to run the train here in just a moment, I may swap out that track with the gray road bed that you normally see, because I know it works pretty good. So alright, let me stop this video and let's get the train loaded up and see how she looks. Alright, I've got the cars on the track and the caboose, but you can't see them. Right now we're just looking at the locomotive and the tender. I thought before we hook up to the cars that maybe we would test the slow speed and see how it performs at really low speeds. So power pack is turned on, so let's give it some power. And I got it in reverse. All right, let's try that again. All right, it's cogging a bit, but it moved. Let's give it just a little bit more. I think that's pretty good for a standard DC locomotive. That's actually pretty good. I bet if we gave it just a tad more speed, a little bit more power, it would smooth out really well. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop it, put it in reverse, and let's see how the slow speed is going backwards. Camera's not as smooth going this direction. Alright, that's pretty darn good. For DC power, that is not bad at all. Alright, so here's our locomotive. And let's back up and catch these cars. So we're just going to have a nice little slow speed backwards. While it's making its way back, we got our B&O, Pennsylvania, Reading, Short Line, and our caboose. And we have caught the cars. So let's go forward. And let's just start out nice and slow. Let's get right down here where you can see them. And I think I got somebody off the rails. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a beautiful looking set. These are pretty easy to find on eBay. I've even seen new ones for under 150, sealed in the box and everything. So if you want to get a set for your own collection, it should be fairly easy to find. But I definitely think that looks really good. This came out in 1998, and this would have been a really nice set for either a collector of Monopoly items, or because of how colorful the cars are, it would have made a great Christmas present for some kids. It really looks good, and everybody loves a steam locomotive, so that makes it even better. And of course, this game was invented in 1904, patented in 1924, and purchased by Parker Brothers in 1935. So back then, steam locomotives is what you had, and there were 40-foot boxcars everywhere. So it's pretty representative as far as that's concerned with what you see in the set. Alright, so let's speed it up just a bit. Oop, focus on the train here. Alright, so I'm going to back up so we can get the whole thing in. Oh, by the way, let's get this jailhouse here. Right there. It's a snap fit set, and it just kept wanting to fall apart. Alright folks, well there is the Bachmann Monopoly train set, released in 1998 under license from Hasbro. Like I've already said, a very beautiful set. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to wrap up the part of the video where I'm sitting here yapping, and then I'm going to get just a little bit of footage of this going around the track and close out the video. So if you enjoyed taking a look at this train set, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and if you want to be notified as to when I have another video up, hit that notification bell. If you have this set, comment in the comment section, tell me what you think about it. Or if you've seen this video and like, oh man, I got to get me one of those, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Alright everybody, well thank you very much for watching. Happy model railroading, guys. Take care.